live from a very, very wet and grey Torun here. It's not a very good May here in terms of weather, unfortunately. Feels more like March or April. Anyway, yes, hello everybody. Hello IH Torun teachers. I do have some teachers above me right now watching live in a room. Great. So yeah, hopefully I'm going to try and spice it up. Going to consolidate some vocab with you. Basically going to show you some practical activities really. So yeah, I mean, we as teachers, we do throw vocabulary at our students on a regular basis. Maybe more, too many words than we should be, because obviously students really should have just, so there should be a sort of limit number of words per class. But quite often we do throw words and, obviously it just goes through one ear, out the other, and it doesn't really sink in. And of course, we do need to consolidate vocabulary and language as well with our students, or they are not going to remember. Okay, and when I say students, I'm talking about all students, young learners and teenagers and adults as well. Okay, now one way that what we do here in International House Torun to really help consolidate vocabulary, and I'm sure a lot of IH schools already do this, is we use what's known as a word bag card. Just tell me if you ever encountered something like this before. Basically, whenever we get incidental language on the board, or any sort of like what we call juicy, sophisticated language, which we extract from reading texts or listening text, basically we get it on the board, and then we get the students to record this on a card. So as you can see, we get them to write the word or the phrase or the lexical chunk. POS, that means part of speech. So is it a verb? Is it a noun, an adjective, adverb, an idiom, a phrasal verb, compound adjective? And the meaning, the definition. Then we get the students to actually write an example sentence using that language. And what's important is when they do write the example sentence, they don't just copy it from the reading text. They try to use it in their own way, because obviously, we as teachers need to double check and make sure that the collocation is indeed a correct one. Okay, so basically these cards then get collected in and they're put into a bag, and we as teachers constantly dip into this bag and throughout the whole year. So there's words which students learnt maybe several months ago, or even at the beginning of the year, and we constantly consolidate the language and the words through games. Okay, so some of these games I'm going to show you right now, these activities, so bear with me. Okay, and of course if you have any questions, do ask me throughout, or ask me at the end as well. Hopefully we'll have some time. So activity 1, now these activities, some of them are going to be new ones I'm going to show you. Some, if you ever saw my tricks up your sleeve young learner session that I did a couple of months ago, there's going to be a couple from there, so apologies if you've already seen that. And once again, I don't want to take any credit for these activities. In true EFL fashion, we do take and share these activities from other people. So I'm not saying any of these are my own, but these are ones which I think are fantastic and we do use here at IH Torun on a regular basis. Okay, so activity 1 is student generated bingo. Yes, the classic game bingo. Okay, now what we do here is basically, first of all, you pair up the students. Okay, and you get them into pairs, and basically this can either work with at the back of the book you've got a word list, lots of different words. Okay, you get the students to choose 5 words per pair. Okay, so 2 students choosing 5 words that they would like to learn. Or as I did on Wednesday with my upper intermediate adult students, I literally took the entire word bag and threw it in the air. So all the cards were scattered on the floor. And I said, right guys, get up and choose 5 words that you still have problems remembering and you would like to learn. Okay, so these could have been words that have been in the bag since the beginning of the year and they're still struggling to remember what they are. Okay, so each pair took 5 words, okay, and then I elicited these 5 words onto the board. And you'll see that, on Wednesday, for example, I had 4 pairs, so a total of 8 students, and for each pair I elicited the words onto the board in different colors, so just it stands out and it's clearer to see. Okay, so then I put them on the board, and once they're on the board, I make sure that the whole class are kind of familiar with the meaning of all 20 words. Okay, so you elicit them on the board and you elicit the meaning from all the class, not just the students who have the 5 words. Okay, then I get the students to write banana sentences or gap fill sentences for their 5 chosen words. Okay, and so that's what they do. They create strips of paper for their 5 chosen words. Okay, and then I take these strips of paper and I put them in a bag. Okay, then I get the students to draw a 3x3 grid, quite large, in their notebooks. And at this stage, I do still have all 20 words on the board so they can see them. Yeah. And then what I do, I get the students in their notebooks just to randomly choose 9 random words from the board. So remember, there's 20 words on the board, and each student, not pairs now, chooses 9 random words. And it doesn't have to be obviously words just from their group of words, but from all 20 words. And they just put them randomly in one word or one phrase into each square. And then, of course, we go ahead and we play bingo. Okay, simple as that. The first student who gets a line either going diagonally or horizontal, vertical, basically gets 3 points. The next student who gets all 4 corners gets 4 points, and then the student who manages to get all 9 words. So obviously I'm reading out the banana sentences, the gap fill sentences, and they're crossing off their words, just classic bingo style. Okay, and this student who shouts out bingo will get 9 points. Okay, it can work. On Wednesday I had a student who actually managed to he was the first to get all 3, get a line. He was also the next one to get a corner and also bingo. So he was lucky. He got a lot of points. I think he got like 16 points in total. But it's a fun game. My adults absolutely enjoyed it. And the pleasure about this, we know how to play bingo, but this is completely student-centered and student-generated. At least he was pride, basically. That's what he won. We're not going to hand out prizes, but of course you can if you want to. All right, so that was activity 1, completely student generated. And as a teacher, you're just basically facilitating, and all you do is actually just writing the words on the board. Okay, all right, so moving on, activity number 2. This is a classic game show one, The Weakest Link. I don't think it's on our TV screens anymore, but you probably remember it from 10 years ago. So basically, this time, I get the students into 2 teams, Team A or Team B or Team whatever you want to call them, or whatever they want to come up with, okay? And on the board, I don't think we can see that very well, I write numbers beginning 5 and then 25, 50, 100, 250, 500, and going up to a maximum of 1,000. Okay, and this works very well with word bag cards. Okay, so I've got them in 2 teams, Team A, Team B, either side of the room. Okay, and we spin a pen or whatever, and whichever team gets it goes first, Team A or Team B. And I read a definition from the word bag card. Okay, or a banana sentence, and they have to guess what the word is. And once they get the word, you draw an arrow next to 5 points, they get 5 points. Fantastic. Okay. Then the next team does the same. So hopefully they're both on 5. You go back to the next team, okay, and you ask another, you give another definition for another juicy word, okay, and if they get it correct, it goes up to 25 points, okay, or pounds or zlotys, whatever, dollars. But just like the classic TV show, they're not going to get that money if they get the answer wrong. And that will then go down to 5, or even, you want to be really cruel, down to 0, okay? Unless they say the word bank before the teacher ends the definition. Okay, so they can't say bank after you've said the whole definition and there's a bit of a pause. They have to say bank as you're saying it, just in case they're not sure. Okay, and if they do get it, then they get the money into their bank, and then you write 25 or whatever onto the board. Okay, classic TV show, and it works very, very well, and it's just another good fun one. Okay, so that's a short but sweet one, Family Fortunes. Weakest link. I'm telling you what's happening next. Activity number 3 is another classic TV show, Family Fortunes, okay, which is very popular here in Poland still, and indeed in quite a few other countries. And again, you have the teams into 2, Team A and Team B, okay, and for round 1, okay, you have 5 questions, okay, different varying points, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and basically the teacher reads a question. Now this could be a question, it could be, it works very well with word sets, okay, so for example, this could be a positive adjective, okay, imagine you've just done adjectives recently with your students, okay, so this could be a positive adjective, or a compound noun, you've just done compound nouns, or an idiom, okay, and both teams think of the word, and obviously you've prepared the answers already, okay, so you know, compound noun, you could have had, I don't know, sunlight, sunburn, you've chosen already, put them on a piece of paper. Obviously ones which the students have learnt, don't come up with any other ones because that's completely unfair and kind of defeats the purpose. And the team which gets the word which is highest then goes, and then they can, so they get the answer, the highest on the thing, they can actually try to choose the other words. Every time they get one wrong, and if they get 3 then you pass it on to the other team and they have to try to steal the points, just like the classic TV show. Okay, again, it works very, very well with word bag cards, and you repeat it different rounds. So the second round, only 4 questions, different obviously word set, but the points are higher, and then the final round, literally only 3 questions, but you're playing for big money. Okay, you can get a maximum of 100 points. Okay, right, so basically, yeah, as you can see, activity 2 and activity 3 are based on TV shows, like a lot of these activities. Okay, moving on. Oh, I see somebody is typing. If you have any questions about any of these activities I'm showing you, do feel free just to type away there. But I will move on because obviously running out of time as always. Oh, sorry, follow-up. Forgot about that. Yeah, one thing I do with Family Fortunes for a follow-up is basically I get my students to write 5 questions for the next team, okay? And the other team also thinks of 5 questions as long as they're connected with words that they know, okay? So that's a good follow-up you can do with Family Fortunes. Activity 4, grab the word, okay? Classic, again, Team A, Team B works very well with sitting on chairs, but as long as they can sort of launch themselves, because then what you do between the 2 teams, you throw strips of paper with words that they know written on them between Team A and Team B, facing up, of course. Make sure you elicit the meaning, make sure the students are fully aware of what they mean. Of course, these should have been words which you're simply consolidating, and you've already taught them to them during the year. Okay, then the teacher, for example, can just give a definition. This is an idiom, which means a long time ago, and then you say, okay, students number 2s, and number 2s literally just launch themselves, or they can just stamp their feet or grab the word, and the student who manages to get the most biggest part of the word wins. Okay, so literally grab the word. You can do it as a classic definition there. So it's an idiom which means a long time ago, so many moons ago, and they grab it. Okay, but it's important to obviously say which student should get it. So number 2, number 3s, and so forth. You could also do it as a banana sentence. New York is a really banana city, and they are number 4s, and they have to go and grab the word bustling, for example. Okay, do be careful, it can get quite dangerous. You know, in the past I've literally had students throwing themselves onto the floor. So you can do it, you know, maybe just literally just stamping their feet on the chosen word, or, you know, just getting up and calmly grabbing the word. But again, you know, this works very well with all ages, and even adults. I've done this with my adults upper intermediate class, and they absolutely love it. A follow-up you can do with grab word is basically using the words that they have managed to grab in their group, or you can break them up into pairs. They can actually write a story using the words that they have grabbed already. Okay, or they can create other definitions of as well, or sorry, you can create put them into example sentences. Okay, yeah. So going back to activity 3, yes, of course, the teacher says the definitions, and the teams get the points if they answer correctly. Indeed, yes, Lucia. Thank you. Okay, so those ones you can do pretty much any age group. And very quickly, I just want to show you 1 or 2 activities from my session I did a couple of months ago, tricks up your sleeve. Okay, I've got about 5 minutes left. This is very similar to grab a word in a way. It's cuddly toy throwing game. Works well with younger learners. I have done it with adults before. And basically, team A, team B, okay? And this time you have flashcards around the room. You elicit what they are. So it's a rabbit, it's a donkey, it's a horse, and get the students to point and show where the flashcards is. So it's very important they associate where they are around the room. Okay, you have them in 2 teams. Okay, and you get 2 cuddly toys, 1 toy per team. Okay, and you place the toys on the floor between each team. Okay, just like that. Okay, and then the teacher says, just like the other game, we'll grab the word. The teacher then numbers the students, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. Okay, and then the teacher gives a definition, for example, or not a definition really with younger learners, very young learners. It's a rabbit. Number 3s, and then number 3s literally grab their cuddly toy and they throw their cuddly toy at the correct word, and whichever team manages to hit the word first or gets as close to the word as possible then gets a point. Okay, so it's very similar to grab the word, but it works very, very well with younger learners. Okay, now don't think I'm going to have time, unfortunately, for activity 6, but do you have any questions you would like to ask me about any of these activities? 20 minutes has gone very quickly, but luckily I haven't been cut off, which is very, very good. So please type away, guys. Oh, I can go till 12:55. Yeah. Oh, okay, Lisa. Well, thank you very much for that. Okay. So activity 6 then. Another one that some of you may be aware of because I did show it during my tricks up my sleeve session is basically the snowball game. Again, works very, very well with VYLs or younger learners. Okay. This time you have the students, in this case they're my teachers during induction week, lie on the floor on their tummies. Okay. And you get a little piece of paper, okay, and you start to draw a word, okay. So in this case, with my very younger learners, my play school group, I've just been teaching animals, okay. So I start to draw very slowly to give them time to guess an animal, okay. And what animal do you think it might be? Of course, it's a cat, okay? So then you drill, it's a cat in different pitches, different variation, okay? And then you do the same thing. It's a dog, it's a rabbit, it's a bird, it's a cat. You drill it again and again. So this activity, yes, of course, it is consolidating vocabulary, but it's also very much a drilling exercise as well, okay? So you point, you remind them it's a dog, they repeat, and so forth. Okay, it's a rabbit, it's a bird, it's a cat. Then you mix it around, so it's a cat, it's a bird, it's a dog, it's a rabbit. Okay, then, this is when it becomes snowballs, you basically take the first one, you screw up, you go, oh no, okay, you put it back down, You elicit what it was. It's a cat. You do the same thing again. Oh no! What was it? And then you do the same thing again. So it's a cat, it's a bird, so forth. Okay? Then you take the snowballs and you mix them around. You take one of them and then you basically ask the students, what do you think this is? Okay? So they think, oh, you know, is it a cat? Is it a dog? Is it a bird? No, get them, and whoever's correct gets a point. Okay, and then you do again and again. So this works very well with VYLs, and it's just obviously helping to cement the words, okay, and drilling as well. Okay, so wow, I managed to fit in activity 6, and it's still only 12:51, so we've got 4 minutes left for questions, guys. So there you go, 6 hopefully practical activities to consolidate vocabulary. Please fire away. I'd love to answer any questions you may have. I see Hein says he plays that with the students. Good. Okay. Yeah, Chiwe, yes, it is a safe activity, that one. Definitely. Okay. Right, any other questions? I see no one, everybody's frozen, no one's typing. Lisa is saying something. So if you don't have any questions, guys, you can always contact me. That's my email address, standish.torun@inhouse.pl. Okay. Do you ever hand over to a stronger student? Absolutely. And what I love to do with my VYLs is I actually take off my lanyard and I place it around the neck of the child, and they become the teacher. And they absolutely obviously love it. And yes, you're right, with the snowball activity, I get them to do it as well, and they're throwing and mixing the words themselves. And yes, okay. Nicole says, no question, but thanks for the idea adapting popular shows. Yeah, okay. There's many. Jeopardy as well works very well. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? I've done that. You know, there's actually on the internet lots of templates for that one, and you can actually, it's a bit time consuming. You can input your own questions connected with obviously whatever you've taught your students. But yeah, lots of these game shows can be turned into activities to help consolidate language. Hello, Rachel. Hi, good to see you. Thank you very much. Lucia, thank you as well. I'm glad you've enjoyed it. I guess that's it then. All right. Nice to see you all. Greetings from Torun.